Good morning, dear students. How are you? This is Ritu Jindal from SDKL DAV Centenary Senior Secondary Public School, Mansa, Punjab. I welcome you all in the today's session. During today's session, we will discuss some basic accounting terms like entry, insolvent, bad debts, debit and credit, consumable stores, event, cost of goods sold, gross profit, and net profit. From Chapter 1, Introduction to Accounting, plus 1, Accountancy. Now, dear student, let's start the topic. First term is entry. Earlier, we have discussed some functions of accounting while discussing the definition of accounting. As accounting is an art of recording. So, recording is the first function of accounting. And whenever a transaction is recorded in the books of accounts, अब जब भी किसी transaction and event को अपनी books में record करोगे, that recording is known as entry. So when a transaction or an event is recorded in the books of account, it is called entry. Second is insolvent. Insolvent is the situation when the liability of the person are more than the wealth he has. Suppose आपकी पॉकेट में 100 rupees है and you have to pay to the friend rupees 150. Now your wealth is rupees 100. आपके पास तो 100 है. Your claims are rupees 150. So claims are more than asset. That is the situation of insolvency, and the person is called insolvent. So when claims are more than assets, whenever the assets are not sufficient to pay out the liabilities or claims of the business, that situation is known as insolvency, and the businessman is known as insolvent. Bad debts. Bad debts means you have to receive the amount from the debtors when due to any reason, either insolvency of the debtor or any other reason, he is not able to pay the amount to the businessman. That amount which is recoverable from the debtor but now not recovered from the debtors is known as bad debt. As we have earlier discussed, debt means जो amount आपने debtor से लेनी है, that amount is known as debt. Now, if that amount is not recoverable from the debtor, this is known as bad debt. जो पैसे debtor से आने थे पर नहीं आ रहे, उस amount को आप books में लिखोगे as bad debts. The amount that has become irrecoverable from a debtor, जो पैसा debtor से नहीं recover होने वाला, either due to his insolvency, it may be the situation the debtor is insolvent or any other reason, is called as bad debt. Bad debt is the loss for the business, as we have lost the amount which is recoverable from the debtor. Now next, debit and credit. Debit and credit. Dear students, debit and credit are the two sides of a same coin. Later on, we will discuss that systems of accounting, two system. And due to out of these one system is double entry system. And due to double entry system, there is a birth of two aspects. And one aspect is written as debit, another aspect is written as credit. And earlier we have discussed the definition of account also. Two sides of an account are debit and credit. Left hand side of any account is known as debit and right hand side of any account is known as credit. So the word debit and credit have no other meaning in the accounting. Debit is abbreviated as DR and credit is abbreviated as CR in accounting. The word debit is derived from the Latin word debitor, which means debtors. Debtors, the person from whom the amount is due. Credit is derived from the Latin word creditor, which means lender. Apparently, the abbreviations of DR and CR are taken from the first and last letter of these words. In accounting, debit and credit do not means debtor and creditors. Debtors and creditors are the persons. Debtors जिसे पैसा लेना है और creditors जिसको पैसा देना है. But debit and credit are the two sides of an account, and these sides are results of the double entry system of accounting. Now next is consumable stores. The materials held by a business. Sometimes the businessman has some material which is not for the resale purpose. That material is for the consumption. And these are known as consumable stores. It may be the items purchased to keep the machinery into running condition, such as grease, cotton bags, lubricants, etc. It may be packing material or toiletries. Consumable stores, suppose in school examination department, there are some stationery. Stationery resale पर्पस के लिए नहीं खरीद रहे हम लोग. Stationery स्कूल में कंज्यूम करने के लिए खरीद रहे हैं. These are known as the consumable stores. Same thing, there are medicine bags. और medicines बेस स्कूल किस लिए खरीद रहा है? The consumable. कंज्यूम हो जाती है, फिर से नहीं आ जाती है, फिर again will be consumed and then again new will be purchased. And these are not for the resale purpose. Event. Event is a happening which indicates a business transaction. Only monetary events are regarded as transactions. There are occasions which cause changes in the value due to the time element. It is always an internal activity. Depreciation on asset, internet accrued, etc. These are known as events. Now next is cost of goods sold. Dear students, the goods which you have sold in your business, आपने जो चीजें बेच दी, उसकी actual cost क्या पड़ी आपको? There are two parts of cost. One is the cost price. जिस price के ऊपर you have purchased the goods. Plus expenses. The expenses spent by the businessman for the bringing of goods from supplier to our business. So उनको मिला के cost of goods sold बनती है. The dictionary meaning of the word merchandise is the commodities or goods that are bought and sold in the business. It is the amount incurred including expenses on purchase and production. There are two types of expenses, on purchase as well as on sale. So the expenses on purchases and production are the part of cost of goods sold on goods which are sold. It is the excess of net sales over the margin of profit included in the sales. आपने goods जितने की सेल किया और उसमें जो margin आपका profit जुड़ा हुआ है उसको अगर minus कर दो, that remains amount of cost of goods sold. There are two formulas for calculating the cost of goods sold. One, net sales. Net sales means total sales, जितनी आपने business में total sales की है, minus sales return. Sometimes goods can be returned by the customer, तो उसको sales में से minus कर दो, that will become the net sales. Minus gross profit, जो आपने profit margin रखा है goods की sale के ऊपर, minus करके the amount is equal to cost of goods sold. And second formula for calculating it is opening stock. Opening stock means, dear student, the accounting year is of 1 year. Just like the आपका जैसे स्कूल का सेशन है, गवर्नमेंट का अकाउंटिंग ईयर है 1 year. And at the beginning of accounting year, if there will be the stock, जो past stock आपका आ रहा है और beginning में आपके पास stock है, that stock is known as opening stock. Plus purchases, during the year जितनी आपने goods purchase की है, opening stock plus total purchases minus purchase return plus direct expenses. Direct expenses means expenses related to purchase and production only, not other expenses are the part of direct expenses. जो आपको goods business तक लाने के लिए खर्चा हुआ है, from supplier till business, these are known as direct expenses. Minus closing stock. The stock at the end of accounting year is known as the closing stock. जो stock आपके पास साल के last में unsold बच गया, it is known as closing stock. Now there are two formulas. Again, I will repeat. नेट सेल्स माइनस ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट, नेट सेल्स टोटल सेल्स माइनस सेल्स रिटर्न, नेट आ जाएगी, देन माइनस कर दो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन इज इक्वल टू कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड. Another formula, opening stock, stock at the beginning of accounting year, plus total purchases during the accounting year, plus direct expenses, expenses related to purchase and production of goods, minus closing stock. Closing stock means stock at the end of accounting year, minus purchase return, the goods returned by you to the supplier. These are the formulas for calculating cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold, जो goods आपने सेल की है, actual उसकी cost आपको कितनी पड़ी है, that is the meaning of cost of goods sold. Now next, gross profit. Gross profit. Gross profit may be calculated by deducting the cost of goods sold from the net sales. So gross, it is the gross income जिसमें से अभी आपके sales के expenses minus नहीं हुए, only gross है अभी. Indirect expenses are to be deducted from the gross profit to find out the actual figure of the profit. So gross profit or gross income may be described as excess of amount of sales over cost of goods sold. आपका सेल प्राइस क्या है गुड्स का और आपको उसकी कॉस्ट कितनी पड़ी है माइनस करके देयर विल बी द अमाउंट ऑफ ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. लेकिन ये अभी ग्रॉस है, नेट नहीं है. इसमें से अदर एक्सपेंसेस रिलेटेड टू सेल्स, rent of the building, salary of the salesman, electricity bill are to be deducted to find out the net profit. Every business enterprise adds the profit margin while selling the goods. At the time of selling the goods, her businessman added some margin to earn the profit. Expenses of doing the business which are to be deducted to calculate the net profit from gross profit are, while ascertaining cost of goods sold, only those expenses are considered which are incurred on the purchase and production of goods. There are a number of other expenses. So many expenses are there, like rent of the building, salary of the employees, stationery, electricity bill, and so on, which are required to carry on the business. And these expenses are known as indirect expenses. Such expenses which are needed to conduct the business are known as indirect expenses. These are classified into 4 categories. Selling and distribution expenses, salesman salary, commission, etc. Administrative expenses, salary of the office staff, insurance, or other expenses. Financial expenses, finance related, discount, interest, etc. Maintenance expenses, to maintain the fixed assets, repairs, depreciation, etc. Dear students, these are the indirect expenses. These are included in the gross profit. If we want to find out the net profit, then we have to deduct these expenses from the gross profit, as gross profit is the difference between sales and cost of goods sold. आपने अगर ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट निकालना है तो नेट सेल्स में से कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड माइनस होगी, और कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड मींस कॉस्ट प्राइस ऑफ द गुड्स, जितने की आपकी गुड्स है उसमें अगर सिर्फ डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस जोड़ो. एंड डायरेक्ट एंड इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस, सप्लायर, आवर बिजनेस एंड कस्टमर, देयर आर 3 stages. Expenses from the supplier till our business are known as direct expenses, और अपने business से आके customer तक goods पहुंचाने में जो खर्चा होता है, these are indirect expenses. So indirect expenses are not deducted at the time of calculating gross profit. Only direct expenses are the part of cost of goods sold. Now dear student, next, net profit. Net profit. When we deduct all the indirect expenses from the gross profit, then there will be the figure of net profit. Net profit is a surplus remaining after charging against the gross profit and all the indirect expenses. Net profit is the actual profit of the business, and that is the income for the owner. Net profit will be added to the capital at the end of accounting year. So now the sequence is, first of all, calculate total sales. Total sales means cash में और credit में. Then उसमें से credits Sales return minus कर दो, it will become the net sales. Net sales minus cost of goods sold is equal to gross profit. Gross profit minus indirect expenses is equal to net profit. Direct expenses means the expenses which are directly related with the purchase and production of goods. Indirect expenses which are not directly, which are indirectly related with the purchase and directly related with the sale of goods. So these are the two types of expenses, and at the time of calculating cost of goods sold, only direct are taken, and at the time of calculating net profit, indirect are deducted from the gross profit. So dear students, that is all about the entry, insolvency, bad debts, debit and credit, consumable stores, event, cost of goods sold, gross profit and net profit. Now, this is the end of today's session. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Goodbye.